Hi, it's Marcus here from bsvsearch.com. In September, I had the honor of being invited by CoinGeek, a premier publication dedicated to the evolution of the Bitcoin Satoshi Vision, the BSV blockchain. They wanted me to participate as a guest on one of their X Spaces. Our discussion was originally slated for just 1 hour, but the interest and the passion in our discussions extended our session to over 2 hours. And even then, the topic of whether Bitcoin SV should prioritize its function as cash remains ripe for deeper exploration due to its critical urgency, importance, and significance. So in this video, I'm going to try as best as I can to articulate why I firmly believe that Bitcoin SV's paramount use case should indeed be as a cash system. Before I delve into my arguments, let me express my heartfelt gratitude to all those people laboring across various BSV initiatives, from ordinals to data security with projects like CertiHash, smart contracts through platforms like Scrypt, and beyond. Each project that proudly and prominently utilizes BSV deserves commendation. And to those who unabashedly highlight the integral role of BSV in their endeavors, I say, wear your BSV badge with pride, for you are pivotal in driving global adoption. Keep pushing forward, your success will be well earned. Our community, and by community I mean just this group of people who want BSV to succeed and are trying to do things to make it succeed, thrives on diverse visions of what Bitcoin SV should embody. And my advocacy centers on Bitcoin SV's utility as cash, which I argue is not just a use case, but it is the very essence of Bitcoin's potential success or failure. The adoption of Bitcoin SV as cash could resolve numerous challenges within our community. Moreover, if embraced globally as money, BSV has the potential to revolutionize financial systems, stimulate economic efficiencies, and streamline operational processes for businesses, communities, nations, and indeed the world. Before we delve in deeper into the compelling reasons to utilize Bitcoin SV as cash, it's important to address a common hesitation expressed by BSV fans regarding spending their BSV holdings, and that is the reluctance to spend their BSV savings. Many within the BSV community advocate for its use as cash, asserting that this was the Bitcoin's original purpose. Yet in practice, there seems to be a reluctance to spend their BSVs. And the reasoning is that they anticipate that each Satoshi that they own will significantly appreciate in value over time. And this hesitation is perfectly understandable. So just as with traditional money, the prudent among us would argue, would reason, we shouldn't spend all our money today. We should save some for tomorrow, for the future. And this approach reflects a wise and responsible strategy for personal financial security. It ensures that you and your loved ones are cared for in times to come. So it is perfectly fine to me to HODL. It is perfectly reasonable. However, there is a critical realization that we need to make here. If all we do is HODL without ever using BSV as cash, then the value of BSV, like any unused asset, could eventually dwindle to nothing. So here's what we can do. We can adopt a dual strategy. First, we continue to save a portion of our BSVs for future gains. But also, second, we allocate some BSV specifically for spending. And this can be done by exchanging a little bit of our fiat currencies monthly or weekly or daily for additional BSVs, which we will use during that month, week, or day. And this way, we spend without tapping into our savings. We use these newly acquired BSVs to pay for everyday goods or services that we need. We engage with merchants or service providers who are willing to accept BSVs. And this practice not only helps in circulating BSV within the economy, but it also enriches each Satoshi's value through active use. By using Bitcoin SV as money, it encourages its value to appreciate. Because remember, each transaction using BSV potentially increases its utility and demand, thereby exerting upward pressure on its value. And the more BSV is used, the more it is likely to appreciate in value, which benefits all holders. By treating your BSVs both like a saving for the future and money that you can spend today, you are contributing to its ecosystem's vitality and growth. It ensures that your savings might indeed be worth more in the future, and not just by hoping, but through active participation. So now that we've addressed that common reluctance that people have about spending their BSVs, we're now going to take a look at the reasons, the arguments for why using Bitcoin SV as cash should be the number one use case for Bitcoin. As stated in the Bitcoin Whitepaper, the primary aim for Bitcoin, as envisioned by Satoshi Nakamoto, its inventor, was to become a global digital cash system. This ambition underscores Bitcoin's design, and it's tailored specifically for digital cash functionality. Initially, as BTC, Bitcoin struggled to fulfill this role of being digital cash because of its scalability issues. BSV, however, has honored and implemented this vision, making it genuinely viable as digital cash. Now, if I want to know who the enemies of Bitcoin are, then I would observe those who argue against Bitcoin being used as cash. These are individuals or groups who either subtly discourage or actively campaign against Bitcoin's adoption for everyday transactions. Their efforts historically derailed BTC from becoming a competitive digital cash system. While I understand that there are arguments for BSV to focus on applications like CBDCs, IPv6 integration, ordinals, or NFTs, because these perspectives are valid, if a person or a group of people are vehemently opposing Bitcoin's use as cash, then that tells me that they are really in opposition to Bitcoin's foundational purpose. And they are undermining the intended purpose of Bitcoin in the world. The second reason that I have with why Bitcoin SV should be used as cash as a use case is that using it as cash is refreshingly straightforward. Everyone can participate. You know, you sell with BSVs. You can offer your products or services in exchange for BSV. You buy with BSV. You convert your fiat into BSV to support merchants who have embraced this digital money. And this approach extends beyond commerce. Consider trading second-hand items or even gifting BSV to friends and family. And it's so easy. There's no tech expertise required. You don't need to be, or you don't need a coder or an investor to join this movement. You simply start by accepting BSV for your transactions, or choose to spend BSV at businesses that accept it. It is important to quote prices in BSV. This shift encourages a mental pivot towards viewing BSV as a primary currency, and it diminishes the instant urge to convert back to fiat currency. BSV is already fully equipped to function as cash right now, without any further improvements, without further modifications. We don't have to wait for anything anymore, because everything that's necessary for its success as a digital money is already in place. So let's just utilize what we have. The third reason for using Bitcoin SV as cash, as a priority use case, is that it is a robust strategy of unstoppable momentum. Once the use of BSV as cash gains traction, its progress becomes nearly irreversible. The architects behind BTC's limitations understood this dynamic very well. They're not just clever, they're strategically intelligent, recognizing that Bitcoin's adoption as cash is pivotal for it to triumph. Their efforts to stifle Bitcoin's capacity by restricting block size were deliberate. It's aimed to cripple its functionality as cash. As soon as individuals, enterprises, and nations comprehend the benefits, the enhanced profitability, increased efficiency, and global business reach through lower transaction costs, the drive towards BSV's adoption will accelerate. The beauty of using Bitcoin SV as cash as a way to grow it, to make it adopted, to make it popular, is that it doesn't hinge on external validations or developments. We do not have to wait for government officials to understand it, to see the benefits. We don't have to wait for investors to back it, or we don't even have to wait for court cases to be won. We don't even have to pin our hopes on the adoption of IPv6, CBDCs, or any corporate initiatives. The reality is, these may never materialize as expected. Instead, we, the BSV community, those people who want Bitcoin SV to succeed, can ignite this change. Don't sit back and watch for developments. Let's seize the moment. By taking proactive steps, each of us can direct and accelerate BSV's growth trajectory. Now, the fourth reason why we should use BSV as cash is that it has a colossal untapped market. Since its inception in 2009, Bitcoin's envisioned role as digital cash has remained a dormant giant, waiting to be awakened. Until 2019, BTC's capability was capped at a scant 7 transactions per second. The renaissance of Bitcoin's original protocol in BSV, correcting the restrictive alterations of its predecessors from BCH and BTC, has now positioned BSV as the quintessential form of digital cash. It boasts negligible fees, and it surpasses the transaction capacity of giants like Visa. What purpose does cash serve? Well, it is the lifeblood for obtaining daily essentials: food, beverages, apparel for warmth, and goods for wellness. Picture the world. There's 8 billion inhabitants, each seeking to be fed and to be kept warm. The global food industry alone balloons to an estimated 8.7 trillion, with the US contributing a hefty 1.5 trillion to this figure. Comparing this with BSV's market cap hovering at around a mere 1 billion, this represents just a minuscule fraction of the global economic pie. Even a tiny sliver of this market share could significantly amplify BSV's market cap, and thereby enhancing its market price to mirror its latent potential. Let's take, for instance, the newspaper industry, right? A sector often considered in decline. It's a dying industry. And yet, with around 386 million units sold daily, The sales from just 3 days could surpass BSV's entire market cap. This illustrates the enormous room for growth when BSV is used as cash. Everyday items, when purchased with BSV, exert upward pressure on its exchange rate against fiat currencies. Envision the sum of all monetary transactions worldwide. This is the colossal market waiting for BSV to conquer. Now, the fifth reason why I believe that using BSV as cash should be a priority is that it solves on-ramp and out-ramp problems. Because at the moment, we seem to believe that we need exchanges to go in and out of BSV. But we don't have to, because every food or service that is traded with BSV can become on-ramps and out-ramps into and out of BSV. Why do you feel like you need to exchange your BSV back to fiat, dollars, euros? Because you need to buy food, right? And anything else that you need. But what if the grocery store or the pizza shop already accepts BSV? Or that the clothing store or the electronic shop is already willing to exchange clothes, laptops, and mobile phones in exchange for BSV. Picture fashion boutiques and tech stores, where your BSV can be traded for the latest in clothing or electronics. In such a scenario, the necessity to revert your BSVs to fiat currencies diminishes, as BSV itself becomes the medium of exchange, effortlessly flowing from purchase to purchase. And we will no longer be reliant and dependent on exchanges, which are currently, at least in my opinion, functioning as casinos, encouraging bad behavior and bad practices, providing the world with thousands of largely useless crypto coins that provide a way in which people can recklessly gamble their lives and fortunes away with no little benefit for society in return. The sixth and the final reason that I have for using BSV as cash today is that, to me, it is the anchor in a stormy sea of currencies. As we navigate through this era of geopolitical flux, where economic and political influence is no longer the monopoly of traditional powers like the US or the UK or Europe, but is also burgeoning in places like China, Russia, India, South Africa, and throughout the global south. There is an emergent rivalry with currencies. These regions are not just trading more intensely among themselves, but are also contemplating the creation of new collective currencies, akin to the euro, to challenge the dominance of the US dollar. In this shifting landscape, all fiat currencies share a common vulnerability. They are subject to the whims and policies of political bodies. This subjects them to corruption, mismanagement, and manipulation, often benefiting select groups at the expense of broader stability. Herein lies the unparalleled advantage of the true Bitcoin, BSV. If its protocol remains untouched and unaltered, BSV stands as a beacon of reliability and integrity in this new realm. It offers a form of money that transcends these nationalistic and political frailties. It provides a stable, incorruptible monetary system fit for the complexities of our modern age. In conclusion, the path forward for Bitcoin SV as a global digital cash system is not just a vision. It is an actionable strategy that each of us can begin to implement today. By embracing BSV for everyday transactions, we not only honor Satoshi Nakamoto's original intent, but also position ourselves at the forefront of a new reality. This isn't merely about adopting a new form of money. It is about advocating for a system that stands resilient in the face of geopolitical shifts, economic uncertainties, and the inherent flaws of politically managed currencies. The reasons are clear. BSV's use as cash aligns with its foundational purpose. It solves practical problems like the on-ramp, out-ramp problem. It taps into an immense market potential. And it offers stability in a world where traditional currencies falter under political pressures. And moreover, by actively using BSV, we contribute to a cycle of value creation. Each transaction not only proves its utility, but also reinforces its worth, encouraging further adoption and appreciation of its value. So let's not wait for signs or permissions from external forces. The power to elevate BSV into its role as the world's digital cash lies within our collective actions. By spending, accepting, and valuing BSV as cash, we are not just participants in an economic experiment. We become the architects of a new economic paradigm. So, with our actions lies the true potential of Bitcoin SV to not only succeed, but to redefine what money means in the modern era. By embracing BSV as cash, we can make Satoshi's vision a living, breathing reality. Thank you so much for joining me in this video. And if you like what we're doing here, if you like the content, please share the video, tweet about it, share it on Facebook, or wherever your favorite social media is. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so that way you can be notified of future videos, and that way you will notify the algorithms of YouTube to know that these things are of interest to you. If you'd like to tip this video in BSVs, please do so. I am planning to use the BSVs to promote BSV, like buy food for people or drinks for people. Likewise, if you are a merchant and you're, say, selling drinks or burgers or what have you, I can buy your customers, one of your customers, a beer or a burger or a pizza. Also, if you have something to sell, if you have a shop and you are willing to accept BSVs, please list it on bsvsearch.com. Likewise, if you've got second-hand goods that you want to exchange with people for BSVs, list it there as well. If you're, selling second-hand books or whatever you've got that you don't need anymore, you can exchange it for BSVs, list it at bsvsearch.com. And if you're selling goods or services, if you're, say, an accountant or a professional, and you're willing to be paid in BSVs, list your services on bsvsearch.com. That way you can earn real Bitcoins, BSVs, so that you can use it for living or for working, for your business, whatever it is that you need. So until next time, thanks once again. Cheers. Bye-bye.